Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. It is a good morning to be up because we are up, and thus it's a good morning. Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing you news that's going to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business investment and entrepreneurial activity. Today is the 18th of September. Let's discuss. So yesterday was we had a lot of stuff that a few things I was going to talk about on air. Didn't get a chance to, which for a good reason. We had a lot of engagement, which was fantastic. So we're going to definitely work on discussing them today. And then, of course, for the rest of the week, there's still a lot of new stories that happened while I was away that we gotta talk about. We gotta engage and discuss. For example, some information about OCOP and their port. Also, we have some things going on related to cholera. But in terms of compensation, we're going to talk about all that throughout the week. But first things first, let's catch up. Right, we're playing catch up. In addition to keeping folks informed about things. For example, we're going to talk about Dorian. That happened while I was away. At least the tail end of it. So we're going to definitely talk about that today. All right. What's up? What's up, Tyreek? What's going on, my brother? All right, on IG. What's up? We got videos KO on YouTube. What is up? I did see your comment about Spanish. No hablo español. I do have folks, given Haiti being where it's at and where it's being located between Creole and French. Translation is something that is on my radar in terms of what I want to do in the long term of what we're doing here. Right now, the cost associated with proper translation, i.e. getting somebody here with that skill set to, actually do translating is tricky. But what I can tell you guys is that on Facebook, one thing I do is I have Facebook automatically generate English subtitles. So if English isn't your first language, you can go to our Facebook and then automatically Facebook will generate English for you. The English isn't necessarily perfect, but certainly it's helpful for folks where English isn't their first language. They can just kind of read along a little bit. And additionally to YouTube, I also, when I remember, which I remember most of the time, you can select the captions on my videos on YouTube. You just have to manually do it yourself. You have to go into the settings and turn on the captions, and then YouTube also automatically generate English. So that's just something for you guys to know if you, again, English isn't the first language, and I'm talking a little too quick for those guys, right? So announcements, of course, we have a fantastic video, a burger week on YouTube right now. It's doing great, and it's tasty. In fact, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I won't talk too much about it. But again, it's a great episode, and we're out. Me and the high protein are out, and we're enjoying different burgers at different places we've been to in Haiti, different restaurants. So again, if you haven't had a chance yet to check that video out, again, stop what you're doing, even stop this video and go watch that video. All right. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, and which is we have a situation related to Dorian. Thankfully, the hurricane was originally projected to cut right through Haiti when it first was, becoming a tropical depression and growing. But then it turned last minute and avoided even, I think, if I refresh my memory, guys, but I think even past Puerto Rico, kind of etched Puerto Rico and just skipped Puerto Rico, skipped Dominican Republic, which originally we thought was going to get the most of it. And then, of course, went into Bahamas. Now, for Haiti dodged a bullet because, again, I can't tell you that even mild rainstorms, I'm not kidding, mild rainstorms in Haiti causes deaths because the infrastructure is so bad and the canals are blocked. And there hasn't been enough money spent to canalize the low-lying areas near Taba and where the water flows through and near Cité Soleil. So even the smallest water events cause massive danger to the citizens here in the country. So you can't imagine what a hurricane would do and will do eventually once we do get a direct hit. Now, and what's funny about Haiti, or Port-au-Prince in particular, is that wind damage isn't much of a concern. The mountains being on both sides of Port-au-Prince really shield Haiti from, I think, ever really having a hurricane cause much damage because of wind, right? It's the rain that Haiti would succumb to in very large numbers and degrees. Many Haitians would, which is very much a problem, which is a problem that is potentially solved with a state solution by making sure trash doesn't go in the canals, by cleaning up the trash that do, creating new canals, creating a one-tier sewage system, things like that. Of course, that's like asking a dog to speak, right? In this age that we live in. So that now is off the table. But again, so if a hurricane did come through and pass through, it would have been a disaster. So, thank God that so far in the 3 years I've been in Haiti, we haven't had a direct hurricane hit through Port-au-Prince. We did have Hurricane Matthew do a very devastating pass through to the west of southwest of Haiti, and we're still recovering from that 2 to 3 years later, right, in the southwest. But let's focus on Bahamas. So Bahamas, Abaca Island is where it passed through in full. It was Abaca Island. The Abaca, so they got Grand Bahamas. Abaca is somewhat to the north of it, where that eye just sat. I mean, it was a slow-moving storm. At one point, it was 1 mile an hour for several hours. So that thing was able to just sit and spin and just totally do incredible amounts of damage. The areas that were hit throughout we have 6 slums in particular were hard hit: Sandbanks, Farm Road, L and H Treasure K, the Mud. I'm going to come back to the Mud in a moment. Pigeon Peas, Elbow K, right? The Mud in particular had a resident count of 51%. 51% of Haitians were there. I think the media makes it seem as if it was entirely of Haitians, but so there were Bahamians affected in that as well. But certainly it was very much disproportionate Haitian. The total count right now for Haitians is sitting at, last estimates have it around 300. Now you put that in context, there is about 50 Bahamians that have been estimated to have died thus far. But 300 Haitians have been recorded to have passed over in Bahamas through this disaster, which is incredibly sad. You have Haitians who are leaving for no other reason but a better economic opportunity and a better standard of living, which unfortunately they can't find in their country because of poor leadership, because of a diaspora that doesn't view Haiti as a place to invest and provide jobs, views it more as at best a place where you build a house and retire in, which doesn't help the economy in mass. A diaspora that doesn't work together to put very large, successful enterprises that can compete on an international level on the ground here and work and overcome, right? And of course, we always say, we understand why people wouldn't want to come to the country because it is very difficult because you don't have government support. In fact, worse than that, you have a government that impedes investment through many layers. We understand that, but that doesn't stop other people, right? So there was a comedian Canadian comedian, Abe's and Peaches. Maybe I'm saying his name wrong or right. Abe and Peaches, and he came in, made a very popular video that made the rounds in the diaspora here about how when he went to any store here in Haiti, how he saw basically what's the proper term I want to use? Arab-looking people running the stores, right? And it's true whenever you go into any store here, you'll see the person sitting at the booth, that supervisor role, any little corner store, grocery store. 99 times out of 10, it will be someone like that. And it was, I can't believe, and then he wrote a whole video about this, right? Which I was just shaking my head, right? Oh, can't believe, we have these business owners in a country where Black Republic, and it saddened me that I didn't see anybody of my complexion running businesses there. And of course, yeah, then he did, put in context. He said his parents are to blame because his parents can go back and invest. Great, but still, there's the subtle context of it was that shouldn't happen. But what's missed here, right, and what's always missed whenever Haiti is discussed in business, and the diaspora is talking bad about and coming to the country to do business, is that they've done it. They being these Arab folks who were running many businesses here, they've done it. They came, they worked together because they had the same government to have to work through, the same amount of corruption to have to work through, right? They didn't have a special speed. In fact, they had it worse because they weren't seen as either white, nor they weren't seen as Haitian, right? They were seen as third tier of people, and had it even worse historically. If you look at the relationship between Lebanese and Haitians in the country, when they first came to Haiti, they had a very, very difficult time, and which still endures somewhat today, but slightly isolated because again they run so many businesses here, right? But my point is that if more folks should focus not instead of the result, which is they're running the business, but how they came to run the businesses. And when you sit and ask that question, right, and the answer is simply they work together, pool their resources together, and overcame the difficulties to now be in a position where they provide jobs, they have somewhat influence over politics. They've done a pretty good job of trying to stay out of politics, for what it's worth. We got Farrah Jackson on Facebook. Bonjour. For what it's worth, they've stayed out of politics somewhat, but they've more or less stayed to their group more or less, and just succeeded in the country, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the thing. That's what always bothers me. It's like, okay, well, instead of being angry about that, let's see how you replicate that, and then leverage that same strategy. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we do Haiti Biz News. We do our new Palais series on Facebook. We talk about different ways to overcome the difficulties here in the country. In fact, today's episode, the next segment, we're gonna be talking about that as well, how to deal with political instability. So we're gonna talk about that. So, I don't subscribe to the idea that Haiti's difficult. Yeah, the government is corrupt and acts as an impediment to any sort of development, and thus it shouldn't happen. The fact that these conditions exist, and we know that charity isn't the way to move forward, we need to have serious, genuine conversations amongst ourselves of how to put successful businesses on the ground, leverage each other as waypoints, networks, and move forward and be successful. Because again, growing up, every male Haitian I know in the diaspora, the only conversation if any serious conversation they ever had about Haiti is how much they want to come back and be a politician. And every single problem throughout history has been politically led, right? And folks trying to vie for power and keep power and not caring about anything else except that power, because that's all Black Haitians think about, the politics, activism, instead of the one thing that every other race thinks about and has proven to be successful because of what they've done and proven, which is economics. Focus on economics, focus on entrepreneurship, focus on building networks to help each other succeed through the business of business, and everything else takes care of itself. No one, very few people in the Haitian community, and very few people in Black America, unfortunately, really appreciates that and understands that. And the results are self-evident, right? So I had to take a little tangent there, but let's bring it back to Bahamas, right? Let's bring it back to Bahamas and go. So the reason why I went on that tangent is just the sad fact that we've had these folks leave Haiti because of the lack of economic opportunity that exists, right? And they go over there to the Bahamas, and they've had massive discrimination. Historically, it kind of subsided, at least from the attention of people, even though those who pay attention to what's going on in Bahamas, for example, Bahamas recently demanded everybody visiting to have passports, Haitians, but the clear implication has been, Haitians need to have passports, and there was an increase of deportations, particularly of Haitians. Haitians, by the way, make 20% of the other class of people in Haiti, in Bahamas, and of course, around the world, any class of people who come as migrants, who come in as needing work and opportunity, or the poorer class, they unfortunately get the worst of treatment everywhere. That's unfortunately something we humans haven't yet evolved past, making somebody an other and treating them poorly. And in Bahamas, what you can say is particularly heartbreaking about the Bahamas, at least when you look at Dominican Republic and it happens to Haitians there, you can say, well, the Dominican Republics, they want to be European so bad. You just drive around San Domingo, you don't see any black statues, you see white statues. They just want to be European so bad. Shame on it's in a way you can feel, and I know a lot of Haitians here, they go, oh man, yeah, we have it bad here, but at least we understand our roots. We know who we are, blah, 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 blah. That's what they get. This one, right or wrong, this is what a lot of Haitians say about the conditions of how they see Dominican Republic treats its black citizens. Okay. Right or wrong, that's the criticism. But Bahamas, they're black people. The Bahamas are black people. And yet they treat their people, other people who are black, Haitians, in such a very negative, bad way, right? And that right there is particularly sad and heartbreaking, right? I see it on IG. In fact, just last night, I saw a little graphic that had the Carribean under one big loop and said, "We're all family." And I'm like, yeah, I need to tell the Bahamians and the Dominicans that. and the other every other island has these issues of class based off of where these people are coming from. So we're certainly very far from being at that place, and what's going on to the Haitians in the Bahamas, especially right now, where you have news stories, false news, fake news stories going out like right after the hurricane that said there were Haitians looting. That was proven false. By the way, that was proven false. That was fake news. When you have people going on voice, there's a voice audio going around the grounds in WhatsApp, different WhatsApp groups, that has a Bahamian saying, and this is their exact words, we need to round up these Haitians in the Bahamas and do what they're doing to them in the Dominican Republic and shoot them in the head. This is an audio file that exists, and they're making the rounds right now, and it's incredibly shocking. It's incredibly sad, but that's a sentiment that is going on now. There's some, I spoke with someone in the Bahamas right now who's doing work, relief work right now, and who's very close to Haiti and Haitians, and they tell me that they don't see that. They tell me, I ask them straight up, hey man, I do a story about Bahamas and some of the things going on in the aftermath, and even talk about how do you see things on the ground. And he said, listen, the Bahamians are very open, they're very friendly people. I'm not seeing the discrimination. All right, cool. Okay. All right. And I said I was going to share that on air, that, I don't want it to make it seem as if it's just one big discriminatory nightmare for Haitians there. There are still, I guess disasters are like that. Disasters are such that you see the positive of people and you also see the worst of people, right? Which is, human nature, right? But that's not to discount the experiences of people who are sharing stories that they're afraid. There's Haitians right now who, for example, had papers, lost their papers in the storm, and now they're afraid that they're going to be deported. A lot of these Haitians don't know anything but Bahamas, right? And now they're going to be deported, right? How fair is that? To lose their home, lose everything they possess, and on top of that, lose their country that they know, right? Or just generally lose the opportunity that they were in. So that's really the update on Dorian. Let me just take a look at the comments. We have Videos KO saying fuel has already risen in the Dominican Republic as things are in Haiti. Good revelation. Good morning to you, John Revelation. Because DR is not as bad as you think. Listen, look at the DR. I've only been I've been to DR twice officially. I think another time I had to pass through, and the first time I was in DR, it was a vacation trip, Punta Cana, with some friends, and I can tell you that. So I purposely interviewed. In fact, if you go to my YouTube right now, my second most viewed video, and it was my most viewed video for a long time until I made the Haitian Hillbilly video that just exploded, and it's my number one. But for my longest, and this is a video I dropped 4 years ago, maybe, and it's still number two, which is me in DR, asking Haitians, like working class Haitians, how their experience is. Okay, again, this is just straight up me. I'm not even a journalist, but I'm like, let me just ask actual Haitians that I'm running into how it is to be in Dominican Republic. And every person I interviewed on camera said, listen, DR is a place that if you're Black, if you're Haitian, if you're not lazy, you have to be 2 or 3 times more efficient as a Dominican. But so long as you are, you're gonna find work. Like the guys I spoke to, most of them spoke 3-4 languages. Some guys could speak Russian, in addition to Spanish, in addition to French, in addition to Creole, in addition to English. How many languages is that? 5, 6, fluently, right? In Punta Cana, right? I spoke with 2 or 3 folks, and they all said the same thing. Hard work is rewarded in DR, where they feel hard work isn't necessarily rewarded here in Haiti because the opportunities are so low, right? And that's you guys can go check that video out. It's on my YouTube channel. If you scroll down to the very bottom when you first land on Seejeanty, you'll see it. Most popular video, Dominican Republic. I think 2017 is the title, right? So I'm not saying it isn't, but nonetheless, on the very individual, anecdotal level, it's perhaps not bad. On the macroeconomic, political level, it is bad because you have Haitians who honestly, I can't even consider them Haitian because they've been in Dominican Republic their whole lives. They were born in DR. Their parents were born in DR, but because they had grandparents who came in from Haiti, they're being deported back into the country. That's not right, right? And that's what's happening right now in DR, and that's not right. Right? So going on Facebook, we have Jerome. Best thing is to Haiti is splits Haiti again, north and south. Okay, I'm not sure. And Friar Jackson goes, as diaspora, I had many bad stories. The difficulty starting enterprise Haiti. Yeah. Again, that's why you're here. We're here to talk about those things, how to overcome them. And Friar Jackson says, good point. To Gio's very bizarre comment about North and Haiti being split. Okay. Look, the rich. Yeah, I would like for you to explain why we should split Haiti. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So I'll move on until you drop another comment to explain that. Look, the rich make it harder for any diaspora to start anything in Haiti. They really dislike us, and the rich don't pay taxes in Haiti. I think there is. I think I was just talking to somebody yesterday about, um, the uh, there does exist things that happen to people trying to do business here that the folks who are established uh, can and do make it very difficult for people who are trying to compete in a business that they're in to be successful. And that's a much longer conversation we'll have at some point. But the short of it is that I think there are certain ways to do business, and I talk about all the time in Haiti in particular. I talk about all the time is that you don't necessarily want to just jump right into the water and doing business in Haiti. The first thing when everybody, yeah, Farrell Jackson, you saying North and South Korea, that still doesn't make any sense. Why should we split Haiti up? Okay, all right. Let me go back on topic. So, wow, I lost my train of thought. Okay, here it is. So, um, whenever somebody advises, says, "Oh, I'm coming to Haiti, I want to do business," I tell them straight up. I don't even ask them what their business idea is. The first question I ask is, "How long have you been coming to Haiti? How long have you been engaging in the country? How long have you been um, trying to learn the culture and the people and network and connect and get a feeling for the country?" Um, and if they say, "Oh well, no, I mean I've been in Boston and I've been doing business in Boston and I just want to just fly in and just start doing some business," you're gonna fail, dog. You're gonna fail, man. So I'm a guy. So understand, I grew up in Florida. My first experience starting a business somewhere else was in Chicago. I was in the process of opening up a coffee shop. It was a coffee shop. If anyone who lived in Chicago knows Chicago, Chicago State University is a black, it's basically HBCU, but it's not, right? It's a black university intended by mostly black Americans on the south side of Chicago on the 95th Street. And the thing about Chicago State University, unlike every other university in Chicago, I saw there wasn't a coffee shop. There wasn't a coffee shop. I'm like, whoa, this is a big opportunity. I felt like as a serial entrepreneur that I am, prepared this fantastic boilerplate business plan, went to the SBA Small Business Administration, secured a loan of $100,000 in addition to my own starting capital to open up a coffee shop. So I had the money, I had the business idea. My plan was going to source. I was going to, buy coffee beans from Haiti and another place in the Caribbean, serve it. Black Dog. It was going to be called Black Dog Cafe. Oh man, I was ready. And there was one specific location that this could have worked. One specific location. Okay. And it was around the corner. This very busy intersection right across the street from the university. There's no other locations that this could have worked. It had to work there. It was an empty little building. Ended up reaching the owners who owned that building and meeting with them. I met with them for a tour of the building. This older black couple, by the way. And they couldn't believe, first off, because I was maybe 26 at the time or 25. And couldn't believe that a young black man could have secured a $100,000 SBA loan to start this business by himself, which was all true. He told me straight up during the tour, "Who sent you?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Did the Outerman send you? Did I guess he was having some beef with the realtor. The realtor sent you?" I'm like, "No, nobody Nobody sent me, man. I just have a business idea. Here's my business plan. I gave it to him. I mean, we're going to do a coffee shop here. I'm really excited about doing it. But then the meeting ended. No call back. I called him. I emailed him. Nothing. And of course, ultimately, it didn't happen because there was no other retail locations that made sense. No other retail locations that, I mean, there were one or two, but the amount of the cost to rehab those locations would have skyrocketed the cost and made it impossible. A year later, I get a call back from the guy. A year later, he goes, "Oh man, listen, your business plan was the best of all the business plans that were presented to me. We'd like to move forward." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll call you back." But at that point, a year later, I already moved on. I was leaving Chicago. I moved to France for another business opportunity, entrepreneurship opportunity, which is another story for another day I'll share. But what that showed me was that there are local politics on the ground, especially Chicago. Everybody knows anything about Chicago. Chicago is very much a political machine. Everything is connected to politics in Chicago, which gave me good practice for Haiti, because Haiti is the same way. In the long term, it's the same way. And it showed me that you can't just go into an area and just think you're going to I have an idea, I'm going to implement it. Nah, it doesn't work like that. In many places, especially Haiti, you have to know the terrain, know what you're dealing with. Take your time, learn, speak, conversate, network, gain the trust of, right? And then, or know what you're dealing with, and then know how to overcome and attack those group of people who you've identified as holders of power, and be successful in starting your business. And that's what I talk to a lot of people. And I tell a lot of people this. I tell them, how long have you been going back to Haiti? How much do you know the culture? And so that goes to Farrar Jackson's comment about, oh, the rich doesn't like the, yeah, cool. All right, cool. But that's not, I'm gonna go away and just not do any investment in business and provide job opportunities to your Haitian brother. That's not the strategy that's going to work, and that's not the strategy that has worked for others other groups of people who are very successful doing business in the country, right? And so that's just my story, and I hope that helps somebody who's listening out there, who's maybe on the fence or is hearing these same stories, that there is indeed ways to overcome it, and you have to do it smartly and intelligently to do so. Okay, let's read these comments. Good morning, my brother from Pierre Paul. What is up? As a fuel concern, it's rising worldwide, so this kind of problem will be seen everywhere. Absolutely. I'm going to talk about the fuel concerns here specifically in Haiti in a moment. Nationality is not obtained by birth in the country, only if you enter legal. And that, I think Video KO is my DR viewer. It's always good to have a wide range of opinions, right? And Video KO specifically says nationality is not obtained by birth, right? Even though his Constitution said until they changed it, that's exactly what it was. And of course, there was a very small loophole there in his Constitution before they changed it, wipe out the Haitians in this country. That said, basically the limitation of temporary citizen was somebody who's passing temporary was either they were explicitly here by temporary decree, right, as in a diplomat, for example, or if a DR employer specifically had written into their contract they were here for a temporary time, but the boilerplate default of temporary was somewhere around 15 days, right? And if a person was there beyond 15 days, legally or not, that was technically a loophole that Haitians were using, but still, it was a legal loophole. Haitians who were born there were there legally, right? A lot of Dominicans interpret that differently when they're trying to make their point. But the Constitution was the Constitution. It was written. It was there in clean language. And that's what my good friend Videos KO is saying here, and is trying to reinterpret. And now, since the Constitution's changed, well, yeah, nationalism isn't birthright. But that's not how your Constitution was for over 100 years. And now, again, you stripped multi-generational Black Dominicans. I can't even call them Haitians anymore because they weren't. They were born. Their fathers were born in Haiti and DR. they were born in DR. So they stripped Black Dominicans who just so happen to have Haitian heritage of their citizenship, and now they're stateless, right? So anyways, we'll move on with that. The point of this episode isn't to talk about DR. So let's move on. Pierre Paul, starting business in Haiti, it seems hard, but only because the resources that needed to be put in place are not realized, are not there yet. When it finally does, either by direct or indirect means, change will come. Absolutely, Pierre Paul. And again, that's why we're here, to help with that process. I appreciate you. Just going back on Facebook. Let's see. Farrar Jackson, not seeing too much. He's saying some stuff, but I'm not really, nothing I can work with here, unfortunately. But I appreciate you commenting, Farrar Jackson. So I think, just to wrap home our topic about Bahamas and Haiti, I know we took a very long detour, but Bahamas needs your help. The Haitians of the Bahamas still need your help. If you haven't donated to a relief organization yet, you know what? I'm going to post right now on Facebook and YouTube a organization that I'm actually part of, the United Front for the Haitian Diaspora, and we do have a GoFundMe, and we're working with groups on the ground. HRA, I believe, the Haitian Relief Association, that's doing fantastic work right now on the ground in Dominican Republic, and they're helping everybody, but they're really trying to get to areas where Haitians were and provide assistance and aid to them. So I've just posted right there in YouTube, in chat, their link, and I'm also going to add it in the comments after the chat's over for YouTube. So if you're watching this afterwards, you can take a look at that. And for Facebook, I am going ahead and adding that right now to the comment. And again, same thing is going to be it's in the descriptions afterwards. And I'm gonna put a little pin. I'm trying to put a little pin on the comment as well once I get out of this particular terminal that I'm streaming out of, and for you guys to be able to donate. The donate is going very well. They collected over $1,200 so far. And again, if you're really want to provide a helping hand to the Haitians right now in the DR that certainly need that help, please go visit that link. And again, at the end of the video is going to be in the descriptions. Do check that out. We can't. Business isn't for everybody. I'm not critiquing you guys who aren't able to get into business. Especially business in Haiti certainly isn't for everybody. But at the very least, you can donate $20. Anybody can do that, no matter what your background and philosophy is. So, so that's out there, and that's a story. And thanks for the comments so far. The final story I want to leave off of is the update on the protests. Right, the update on protests, what's going on. Just a quick summary of what's going on. Of course, fuel is hard to be found in the country. The reason why is because of what you expect, poor government management. We were in a relationship with Venezuela, and we're getting very cheap oil. One of the things that relationship required was that we created a central authority to accept the gas and then distribute the gas to others, to distributors locally. Because before, the distributors could buy directly from the market. But the treaty that we had with Venezuela, we had it by government to government. And so the government would buy it at a very discounted price. And on top of that, the amount that they didn't pay, they could then borrow against. And what they were supposed to do was build infrastructure and different things. DR, for example, did a lot of very positive things. But probably most notably, they built a tram from a particular poor area right to very close into the city, as an example of something they did with the money that helped infrastructure. In Haiti, it just went into people's pockets, right? So Venezuela, being under constant barrage from the United States, in addition, internal struggles, but mainly the United States, have taken a large economic hit. And again, when I say internally, it was their oil company was a state-run company. Anything state-run is going to do a poor job in terms of operating and net costs. So again, a combination of two things. I'm not letting Venezuela off the hook. They ran the oil company very poorly and a lot of very bad economic policies that hurt private enterprise in the country. But in addition, again, the United States did not help with embargoes, a lot of different things that did not allow them to counter their poor economic performance, right? And right, I'm trying to I'm like, where am I? I'm giving the history history of the relationship, and so when that Venezuela could no longer provide cheap oil, they I think put my button back in here. Just notice on camera. Okay, there we go. And so when Venezuela could no longer provide that cheap gas oil, Haiti had to buy their oil from the market. Now they were buying it at almost double the price of what they're paying. And on top of that, there's a subsidy that exists. We're gonna get into that subsidy in a moment. And so because now the Haitian government had to buy it from the market at a much higher rate, and the Haitian government being very poor at managing their money, they weren't able to keep up with demand, right? And there's other little factors because they were asking the distributors to pay them in dollars, even though they were selling in good. And on top of that, they were selling it at a subsidized rate, which the government was supposed to offset. Which, even though the distributors were providing the money, when they provide the money, still it wouldn't be enough because the Haitian government is poor at money management. So it came to a head around February when things got really bad. It was a fuel crisis then. It was decided BIMPAD, which the middleman organization, was to get out, allow the oil distributors to buy directly from the international market. Great. Problem almost solved, right? Not really, because now the oil distributors still had to purchase from or sell at the subsidized rate, and the Haitian government would then provide the money back, right? So they're buying it basically at $5 a gallon, selling it in the Haitian market at $2.50. That's a problem, right? And the Haitian government never provided, or was very slow to provide the difference, because the Haitian government is very bad at money management. Bear in mind, notice how I say the Haitian government isn't poor or isn't broke, right? The Haitian government has money. They're just very poor at keeping tabs on it by design, right? And very bad at getting it to where it needs to go in a timely manner. Okay, just be very clear. And so this kind of where we're at right now, where the oil distributors here in the country can't reorder because they're not getting the money from the government on time. And that's where we're at right now. And that's what is the current cause of the crisis. And so what really needs to happen now is this subsidy, the fix, which is basically the government setting a very low price for the domestic market to go up. In context, Haiti has the lowest gasoline per gallon in the Caribbean. That price is at $2.50. Right next door, the Dominican Republic, that price point is at $7. Sorry, where I'm getting $7 from? About $4.62. Just about, right? My friend Videos KO, if he's still on, I'm sure he can tell us what the price per gallon is in DR, right? But it's about $4.60. So it's almost double what it is. And across the Caribbean, it's just about that. It's around that $4 price point. So Haiti certainly needs to increase their price point, and there's no other way out of it. But of course, there is some real effects because everything's connected to the price of petrol. That includes gas and diesel. Even myself, I have a diesel generator here in the office. I have to run it. I have to buy diesel. When you go to the grocery stores, they're running exclusively on very large diesel generators because they can't depend on the electricity from the state to keep their business running. Very large industrial areas, same thing. They have their own diesel generation, and they're using diesel generators to do it. And so every single thing in this economy is connected to diesel and petrol. And when you raise that from the rich to the poor person, they are going to be affected. And that's why you have such a very strong push for the government not to touch that, because the perspective, and I see this perspective, is the Haitian government doesn't do anything for the government, for anybody in the country anyways, at the very least, they should subsidize the gas, because at the very least that provides help to everybody, right? That's the sort of idea a lot of people have, and why they don't want the government to touch the subsidy, because they're not doing anything, right? They're not building hospitals, they're not building roads anyways. It's kind of like a deadbeat dad, and the subsidy is kind of like child support, and that's one way that the dad is forced to provide something to the child, and that's the subsidy. That's what the subsidy means to a lot of people. And you remove that, now you have a deadbeat dad that is just a complete deadbeat and doesn't provide anything at all, right? Which is a perspective. But from an economics background, again, I used to teach economics in South Florida, master's holder of economics and bachelor's in economics. It's not sustainable. It's a subsidy like that isn't sustainable for any government. And a proper economist, and a lot of economists have all said this, it needs to go. And that's kind of where we're at right now. This is going to continue. This crisis is going to continue. There's no way for it not to continue until the price rises. And that's where I want folks to understand. If you didn't get a breakdown understanding yet, that's where we're at. Okay. So I just want to talk about a few things, which is, first off, the danger of canisters. There's been a few deaths because, these guys with their motorbikes during this crisis, they all just using these canisters, these little yellow jugs, and they put it on the back of their bikes and driving around. That's been very dangerous. And there's been stories of when these guys get into accidents, or a car runs into them, or they fall off their bikes. These things are highly flammable liquids, and they explode, and they've killed people. And it's been incredibly. I've seen a video. It's been scarring. It's very. These bodies are charred beyond belief. So they're very dangerous. And another thing to keep in mind, I was talking to a friend of mine who's an OCOP, and he basically had to buy. He told me he had to spend $100 to buy gas to run a generator on his business facility. And usually, the amount of gas that he bought for would have lasted him a week. It lasted him a day, meaning he suspects that the gas he bought was highly diluted. It burnt a lot quicker. And that's something you have to worry about. At best, it's diluted and it just burns quicker. At worst, it's something else that may cause a chain reaction and either damage the machine, blow up, hurt you, hurt the person who's putting it in, right? And so you have to, these times, scamsters exist everywhere and anywhere in the world, and a lot of scamsters wouldn't pass anybody to, take a jug, just pour just enough gasoline in there just to give it the smell and the slight look, and then try to sell it to you to make a quick buck, right? And so, folks who may be in Haiti right now, who may be watching, would be thinking about buying it from the black market. That's something you have to keep in mind, that the gas that you're buying may be very bad. So we got Video KO. Appreciate it, brother. He gave me the price. The price of gas in Dominican Republic right now is $4.09. Okay, again, $2.50 in Haiti, $4.09 in Dominican Republic. So I just show you. And thank you, Video KO, for telling me, give me that price point. Appreciate it. So those are two things I wanted to talk about: dilution and just the danger of it. And I'm gonna leave with this, which is overcoming business crisis. Right? I want to spend a little more time on this, but times we're way over time. But some advice. First, have reserves that you can tap into. I myself had 3 8-gallon tanks of gasoline, and I have 2 10-gallon tanks of diesel. Once this crisis resides, I'm gonna double up. I realize, I buy reserves. I get, once there's stress tests, i.e. the crisis happens, and I actually use them and see how long they last. I'm like, okay, well, I need to probably get more to make sure that the next one I can last even longer and not be affected. And it helped me a lot. The first 2 weeks of this fuel crisis, I didn't feel it. People were hitting me up, Chris, man, where are you getting gas? Like, yo, I'm like, I'm a Gucci. I had a full tank when the crisis started. I had a full tank, and that lasted me about a week. And then all the gallons I had gave me another week and a half. So it wasn't until about 2.5 weeks in that I finally hit the crisis myself because of the reserves. And so that's why I want to double up, because if I double up, I could go even almost a month without having to stress about gas, you know? And so that's the first thing I suggest folks to do is double up on their reserves. If you're doing business or just living in the country, you have to take that serious and do that, right? Mission critical staff, depending on the type of business you're doing and in, mine's being outsourcing, and I have clients who have SLAs to hit and clients who have to be serviced. I have a sleeping quarters, beds where folks who are mission critical is what I call them, or can sleep in. In particular, if things get really bad, and things are really bad on Monday, tires burning and road blockages, that folks could, if they choose to, sleep in. And a lot of these guys understand the importance, of what they're doing, and they'll say, "Yo, Chris, listen, things are really bad on the street. I'm going to sleep in tonight. I'm just grab up one of these beds, and I'm just going to sleep." And so having those sort of facilities available in your office is very important, just for the safety of your staff, and particularly for the operation of your business. For some of the folks who are, again, I call them mission critical. If they don't show up, you may lose a client, right? And so that's something you have to keep in mind. And finally, utilizing what accommodations available to help those mission critical staff get to work. Meaning, I don't have this yet, but I'm gonna, literally in a few weeks, I already have it budgeted out. I'm getting a motorbike, right? Because what happened was, I had a mission critical staff. I had a driver who borrowed a friend's motorbike so he can get to work, but then also picked up the mission critical person. And that made me realize I should have a motorbike here so that if I have an employee who's mission critical, and they're relatively near, because they're during these times when they have road blockages and burning tires, you're allowed, they allow people with motorbikes to just shimmy through. Cars can't do anything during these times, but bikes can. And so I'm like, I need to purchase a bike. Bikes aren't too expensive. Like $200 will get you a decent bike here in Haiti, and make sure that I have it here. So when the next crisis happens, I can have another staff member go pick up a mission critical staff who's nearby, right? And for basic things, as we run out of supplies, as we run out of drinking water, because these crises can go. The last one in February went on for about a week and a half, and it got really bad to a point where there was, or I think it was March actually, and there was very little gas, and to be able to drive around the different grocery stores and find stuff, having somebody with a motorbike would have been extremely helpful in-house, right? Luckily, my guy did get one and borrow one, but I'm like, the office needs to have its own motorbike for times like this, right? So, those are, and of course, finally, really trusting, having employees that you can trust, that really understand the importance of their role, and minus gunshots and going off in the streets and them being legitimately in danger, that they will do everything possible to come to work. It's not just, it's just a little bit of a gathering and I'm going to step right back inside. They understand that, hey, minus putting yourself in total danger, you got to come to work, right? Because Haiti is always going to have these political strifes, these folks in the streets, and if you're going to be like this every single time, there can be no business, right? So that's where I want to end it. I'm way over time. I'm going to have to work on, as much as I love these comments, I'll probably work on providing maybe quicker responses, because I don't think anyone's going to really rewatch this at 50 minutes. So, but those who do, I appreciate you. As always, though, if you want some quicker news given to you throughout the day, you got HaitiBizNews.com, Haiti Biz News, Haiti, BIZ News.com, one word. Do go to that website where it has its own program to go out, grab new stories, and bring them to you. So do check that out. And as always, if you like what we're doing here during the stream, share it. Share what I'm doing. Share the stream while it's on, so folks can come inside, engage, learn what's going on in the country. And again, it's a strategy session. It's not just here. We're not just here to just yap and give stories. And we're not just here to just say, Haiti pas bon. And no, we're here to provide strategies of how to overcome and how to be successful in business, because that's the only way the country changes. So again, if you like what we're doing here, leave a comment, like it, subscribe, and share the video. All right, guys. Until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace. Peace.